Good morning. Today's poet is Alfred Lord Tennyson, born 1809, died 1892. He was born in Somersby, England. He was educated at Trinity College, Cambridge, where he met Arthur Henry Hallam, whom he later immortalized in memoriam. Tennyson began to write when a child, largely to es- Tennyson began to write when a child, largely to escape the oppressiveness of his home life, made miserable by his father's drinking and violence. He published some of his best poems, such as Mariana and The Kraken, when he was only 20. In Mariana, he displays his early and enduring gift for using objects and landscapes to convey states of mind and particular emotions. Between 1833 and the date of Holland's death in 1843, when to support his writing, he was especially hard hit by the melancholia that would plague him all of his life and so dominate his poetry. In the wake of Hallam's death, his work assumed a decidedly darker note. He expressed his grief abstrusely in poems such as Ulysses and Break, 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 and directly in Memorandum, a series of 131 quatrain stanzas which Tennyson began within Hallam's death and continued to write over a period of 17 years. With the publication of this great elegy, he finally attained the public recognition long denied him and early sufficient money to marry Emily Selwood. After 10 on again off again courtship. A 10-year on again off again courtship. In 1850, he succeeded William Wordsworth as poet laureate, and 9 years later published the first 4 of eventually 12 parts of Idylls of the King, a project that occupied him for nearly 50 years. So, one of his greatest poems was Mariana, and I'm going to read it today for you. And it has I think it's called an epitaph. It has a little quote at the beginning. Mariana is the moated grange, and it says measure for measure, and that's what it's quoting it from, which is from Shakespeare. Mariana. With blackest moss the flower plots were thickly crusted, one and all. The rusted nails fell from the knots that held the pair to the gable wall. That broken sheds looked sad and strange. Uplifted was the clinking latch, weeded and worn, an ancient thatch upon the lonely moated grange. She only said, my life is dreary. He cometh not, she said. She said, I am weary. I would that I were dead. Her tears fell with the dews at even. Her tears fell ere the dews were dried. She could not look on the sweet heaven, either the at morn or eventide, after the flitting of the bats, when thickest dark did trace the sky. She drew her casement curtain by, and glanced athwart the glooming flats. She only said, "The night is dreary. He cometh not," she said. She said, "I am a weary, a weary. I would that I were dead." Upon the middle of the night, waking, she heard the night fowl crow. The cock sung out an hour ere light. From the dark fen of the oxen slow came to her without hope or change. In sleep she seemed to walk forlorn, till cold winds woke in grey-eyed morn about the lonely moated grange. She only said, "The day is dreary, he cometh not," she said. She said, "I am a weary, weary. I would that I was dead." About stone cast from the wall, the sluice with blackened water slept, and o'er it many, round and small, the clustered marish mosses crept. Hard by the poplar shook away, all silver green and gnarled bark, for leagues no other tree did mark the level waste, the rounding grey. "He cometh not," she said. She only said, "My life is dreary." "He cometh not," she said. She said, "I am a weary, a weary. I would that I were dead." And even ever when the moon was low, and the shrill winds were up and away, in the white curtain to and fro, she saw the gusty shadow sway. And when the moon was very low, and the winds bowed within their cell, the shadow of the poplar fell upon her bed, across her brow. She only said, "The night is dreary. He cometh not," she said. She said, "I am a weary, a weary. I would that I were dead." All day within the dreamy house, the doors upon their hinges creaked. The blue fly sung in the pane, the mouse behind the mouldering waistcoat shrieked, or from the crevice peered about. The faces glimmered through the door. Old footsteps trod their upper floors. Old voices called her from within. She only said, "My life is dreary. He cometh not," she said. She said, "I am a weary, a weary. I would that I were dead." The sparrows chirrup on the roof, the slow clock ticking, and the sound, which to the wooing wind aloof, the poplar maid did all confound. Her sense, but most she loathed the hour, when the thick moated sunbeam lay athwart the chambers, and the day were sloping towards his western bower. Then she said, "I am very dreary. He will not come," she said. She wept, and "I am a weary, a weary. Oh God, that I were dead." So that was a good melancholy one from a melancholy poet. I don't know everything about it, but I'm going to go on to read The Kraken. And it says that a kraken is a mythical sea monster called in the 18th century natural history of Norway the largest and most surprising of all of the animal creation. But it's mythical. So it was in the natural history of Norway, but it's mythical. Below the thunders of the upper deep, far, far beneath the abysmal sea, his ancient dreamless, uninvaded sleep, the kraken sleepeth, faintest sunlights flee. About his shadowy sides, above him swell huge sponges of millennial growth and height, as far away into the sickly light. From many a wondrous grot, the secret cell unnumbered and enormous polypi, winnow and giant fins, the slumbering green, there hath he lain for ages and will lie battening up upon huge sea worms in his sleep, until the latter fire shall heat the deep, and once by men angels to be seen, in roaring he shall rise, and on the surface die. Sounds like a traditional story of a creature that is much feared. Um, let's see here. Maybe one of his older, newer poems. I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure what I'm gonna read. Let's see here. He wrote a lot in his life. Alfred Lord Tennyson. I'm not sure if I'm going to read more or not. It depends on how short they are, honestly. Break, Break, Break was mentioned in the part that I read about him, his biography. Here's Break, Break, Break. Break, break, break on thy cold grey stones, O sea, and I would that my tongue could utter the thoughts that arise in me. Oh well for the fisherman's boy that he shouts with his sister at play. Oh well for the sailor lad that he sings in his boat on the bay. And the stately ships go on to their haven under the hill. But oh, the touch of a vanished hand, and the sound of a voice that is still. Break, 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 and the foot at the foot of the crags, O sea, but the tender grace of a day is dead, never will come back to me. That was a beautiful oceanic poem. And I love that he wrote a poem that was just 16 lines that is so loved to this day. I like short poems personally. The shorter the better. I think that might be the end of my reading for the day, but here's another very short poem. Here is a 6-line poem by Tennyson, so I probably should read it. It's called The Eagle, and then it says another title, which is Fragment. He clasps the crag with crooked hands, close to the sun in lonely lands, ringed with the azure world he stands. The wrinkled sea beneath him crawls. He watches from his mountain walls, and like a thunderbolt he falls. The eagle falling. That was a good one. Well, I have almost come to the end of possibilities. Here's one more. This was Crossing the Bar was written very near the last of Tennyson's life when he was close to death. Sunset and evening star, and one clear call for me, and may there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea. But such a tide as moving seems asleep, too full for sound and foam, when that which drew from out boundless deep turns again home. Twilight and evening bell, and after that the dark, and may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. For though from out are born of time and place the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. Is that about a sandbar? Crossing a sandbar? Like out in the ocean? Because that's the kind of bar I'm imagining. Okay, thanks for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the poetry and keep tuned for future ones because I put them out every day. Thanks. Bye.